Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ohio State Buckeyes Call-In Show. I'm your co-host Ryan Stano.
I'm Garrison Gaddy.
Garrison, um, there's been a little bit of news since we talked on Monday,
Mhm.
specifically when it comes to recruiting, which the recruiting machine certainly does not stop. Um, so while we wait for some people to go ahead and call in, I'll go ahead and drop the link here in the chat for people because this is your guys' show. We want to hear from you. Um, But before we get some people calling in, I do want to talk about Tyler Atkinson, someone who has been on Ohio State's radar for quite a while, and he will be
Mhm.
visiting this weekend as a five-star prospect. Atkinson will be attending the spring game, and he's a linebacker. He's actually rated as the number
Number
one
one.
linebacker in the country and the seventh overall recruit in the entire country, regardless of position. So he's a big one.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know right now he's projected to head to Georgia, but this is also the fifth time he's going to be in Columbus. So this is an important visit. What do you think about Atkinson, and what do you think about their possible chances of landing tomorrow?
I wouldn't say they're high, right? Like I wouldn't.
Yeah,
It's gonna be tough, to get him out of that that part of the country.
yeah.
Georgia,
He's a Georgia boy.
yeah, he's a Georgia boy. On top of that, Georgia over the last few years has had great linebacker production going into the NFL. Ohio State seems to be on the rise in that facet, but it's not as proven as what Georgia has.
Yeah.
I am surprised that James, like I saw this today, James Laurinaitis is not heading that recruitment. Um, it is Walton, it is Perry Eliano. I don't know why it's Eliano, but it's Walton on there. But
Yeah.
I also think that's because Tim Walton is the second best recruiter on this team. That's just what it is. And I
Although
mean,
Matty
I
G's
think.
making a run for that.
Oh yeah, that's true. That well, actually, I mean, let's be honest. Now, that's his. Yeah, he's the recruit for that position now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but or at least at the safety position. But listen, like you said, it's been 5 times now, so clearly he likes to be in Columbus. I don't. It's either the program and the coaches, or it's the Buckeye Donuts. It's got to be one of the two. But what I do know is that he likes to be in Columbus.
Well,
So
both of those things are good, so
yeah,
that's
they
that's
are.
you
They
know
are.
that's a positive.
What do you think the chances are?
I don't think the chances are very high, but I
Mhm.
do think that if there is a program that would be able to yank him out of Georgia, it would be Ohio State. Just
Yes.
from the straight fact, as you mentioned, he's been there a lot. He clearly likes something about the program. And, this is somewhere that he clearly thinks he might be able to, um, you know, he could see himself playing in the future. And coming off a national championship, this is someone who clearly wants to play for one of the best programs out there. He's considered Ohio State and Georgia aren't the only two that have offered him scholarships and, who want to have him come play for them. He's got all the big boys going after him. So
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
got no shortage of championship pedigree teams that want him to play for them. And, I'm not going to put the chances at zero, but I certainly wouldn't put them at, higher than 50%. I would say if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd give them a 25% chance. But what does help is he will be there for the spring game. And so a lot of other highly ranked recruits. Like there's going to be a lot of good kids in
Mhm.
Columbus this Saturday. So maybe being around all those other guys who are excited about being in Columbus, maybe they all decide, hey, we kind of like being here all together. That's at least my hope.
So I'm gonna pull this up real quick from Nick Enright. Nick, good to see you here, buddy. Says they're talking about changing the portals to even out players moving around, saying it would also hurt their grades after going to another school. What do you think about that?
Well, that's not something I've seen. I know
Mm-hmm.
that they've been talking about getting rid of the spring portal. Um, I haven't kept up with the House settlement quite as much recently because nothing's been finalized. Until something is actually
Right.
finalized, then come call me. I don't need to watch through all the legalese, but I don't know that it definitely can hurt your grades if you go to a different school that's got different academic standards. That's certainly true. But I'm also not going to sit here and pretend like a lot of 5-star recruits are majoring in nuclear physics. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for a lot of the top guys out there. What do you think?
If you let another fan base tell it, they think their players are. But
That's true. That's true.
Well, speaking of that other fan base, that team up north.
Hold on, before we bring them up,
go ahead.
I just want to go ahead and shout out, some of these memberships that we now have launched. You can see them scrolling there on the ticker. Get the Blocko. JT wasn't short. We don't give a damn. These memberships really help us, as creators, give you, all the good content all across the channel. So anything that you can do to help support would be greatly appreciated. I know I speak for both me and Garrison, where we want to build a community here and foster that, and we really appreciate any contributions that you may be so inclined to give. So we'll go ahead, and if you want to bring in our first caller,
of course.
Oh hey,
Tim, what's going on, man?
Hey, Tim.
Nothing.
By the way, I caught a little bit of your show, man. Good job. I did catch a little bit of it. I commented on there actually, so yeah, go check that out. You didn't answer my question yet.
Yeah.
What was your question?
What you got? I
so
had something with the O line. I think.
Okay.
Something with the O line. What's up? What you got?
Some people, both at my school, they think that the Urban Meyer national title team can beat Ryan Day. I can't tell them that the Ryan Day national title team is way better than the Urban Meyer national title team.
That's an interesting question. I got to be honest, because that 2014 team, that team wasn't supposed to win a title. Like, they were a year ahead of schedule, and that 2015 team was supposed to be so much better. And the 2024 team was expected to win. Like, they were built for that run. But as far as it being better, I don't know. That's something I got to think about. Did you have an answer to that right away, Garrison?
Oh yeah, I do. They're better. They are.
The 2024 team.
The 2024 team is better than them.
Okay.
I truly believe all right, so that Alabama team, right? Now it was a really good Alabama team. Okay, it was. That's not even in the top 10 Nick Saban teams. So like that's my I don't think they are. I don't think they're in the top 10 Alabama teams. Because they're teams that I don't think they are. I mean, starting at the quarterback position. I just don't.
Blake Sims was not very good. Sure.
No. Did they? Now, of course, they had Derrick Henry. Like
I was gonna say,
and Cooper. There was a lot of players around. Don't get me wrong. I would actually liken it to this. I think that Alabama and that Ohio State team are very similar, where you had a limited quarterback situation at the time, but everything around them was great, right? But
I'll say this: that 2014.
I don't think the wide receivers are better. I think this defense would have given Cardell hell. I think this defense would have gave Cardell hell.
The 2014 team did win a Big Ten title, and they did beat Michigan. So they had that over the 2024 team.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I always tell people. What happens in one season, and what happens in one respective season, right, Tim? This has nothing to do with this other season. It would be like 2002 Ohio State, 13-0, beat Miami,
14-0, yeah.
I unfortunately, I can name just off the top of my head, I can name 10 teams at Ohio State that would run through them. Easily.
See, I don't know if they would run through them because look, that team
they will run
that 2002 team played maybe one of the most talented teams in college football history in Miami. They beat them.
A dead clock is right twice a day. I love that team. A dead clock, a blind squirrel finds a nut. That I think
Found
that
it 14 times.
You see what
I mean against that Miami team. What, Tim?
You see what I added down there? A depth chart.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Let's pull this up.
Oh, you're talking about the 24 and 23 team. We are not talking about the same thing.
Huh?
You mean the Michigan team?
Yeah.
I thought you meant the 2014 Ohio State team.
Yeah, you mentioned.
I was talking about that. About that, but I wanted to share all this.
You're just bringing the depth chart up in general. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's go down this real quick. Comparing the 2024-2014 Ohio State team. Quarterback.
Yeah, I made this so.
Oh, nice, actually. But all right, so you give Will Howard the quarterback nod, right? Will Howard's better than Cardale Jones.
Will Howard,
yes.
he was the
starter.
I said yes.
Starter, so.
You second thought. You second guess yourself.
No, because I was honestly looking at the depth chart and I was thinking about the Michigan stuff. But yeah, he's better. Okay. He's better than Cardale Jones. Yeah.
And then running back, we don't have to have a discussion.
It'd be Zeke. Just saying.
Just Zeke.
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Offensive line 2014, but wide receivers 2024.
Tight end.
Receivers, tight end. It's probably 2014, but I can't say it's like.
Was that Farrell?
Yeah.
I'm taking Farrell over anything that's on last year's team.
Yeah, it's close because it's not like neither one of them made a huge impact. But I would say 24. I'd say 2014.
Now defense.
Defensive line, give me 2014.
I disagree.
Joey Bosa. Yep. Okay. Taekwon.
No. See, so that's Joey Bosa is not the whole defensive line.
Yeah, go down to the bottom. That's where you see the defense.
Who's the other DN was? Wasn't Noah? Was it?
No, Adolphus Washington was the other guy. Adolphus Washington.
Are you thinking Adolphus over JT or Jack Sawyer?
Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa.
Nick wasn't there yet.
Nick was not there.
So are you taking Adolphus Washington over JT or Nick or Jack? I don't think Adolphus has their peak.
I don't know if I would take him over Jack, but I would take him over JTT. Especially there at the end of the year, because Noah Spence was kind of gone at this point. He got kicked off early in the year because he had let's just call it some drug problems. But they had some really good players like up front too. Steve Miller had a huge play in that Alabama game. Yeah. Now I think it's close. I really think it's close, and I might be swayed the other way.
All right, here's the thing. We actually might
of 2024.
We actually might be doing this wrong. Whose offense do you trust more to score on the other's defense?
See, that's a different question because I don't know which quarterback we're going with for the 2014. Now, if we're just talking about like the national championship rosters, then give me 2024 because Howard.
Wait. Do you think Do you think JT Barrett's better than Will Howard?
I think it's a better argument than it is for Cardale Jones. I do think Will played better for Ohio State than JT did.
Okay. But to answer your question, Tim, I think the 2024 team will win, and it's simply because the quarterback. For me, it's simply the quarterback position. Because I think
I know this. You brought the Jim Trunchbull team. Now who? Now can they beat the 2014? Because you brought
Hell no.
the Jim Trussell team.
There isn't one Jim Tressel team that would beat that 2024
The
team.
national title one.
I'm telling you that 2002 defense was nasty, and they beat what many consider the most talented team in college football history.